जब कॉल आता है तभी ऐसे सुनाई देता है कि माय गॉड आग लगी है। नेक्स्ट डे आती हूँ तो तब आधी आग बुझी हुई रहती है। फिर मुझे लगता है कि कल तो कॉल पे इतना बवाल हुआ, फिर आज क्यों नहीं इतना हो रहा है। Each and everyone who is working for the organization is a manager. You see, there are organizations those who hire HRs after 20 or 30 years also. I mean, the initial 20 or 30 years they felt like they do not even want to have an HR, and all of a sudden that someone gives them gyan like no, you should have a HR or personnel department. Manager definition has to be simplified like the one who is accountable for.
What does managing mean when there is no one on your team? How do you go about it? What is it that it means to you? Welcome to Better Manager podcast. I'm Nilima, your host. This podcast is part of what we do at Better Manager, helping managers get better at the human side of work. We bring you conversations with coaches who help you better manage yourself, your work, and your team. We bring you insights and inputs from HR leaders and share what they to look out for. And most importantly, we bring you conversations with managers like you who have real stories and journeys to share, which help you and others to grow along. Today, we are discussing a topic that isn't often talked about, what we truly mean to be a manager when you don't directly oversee a team. Today's guest, Ankita Rane, she is a HR manager and has about 12 years of experience across manufacturing, retail industry, I think also insurance, and now she's in the food industry. Outside of her work, she loves capturing vintage places through her lens and exploring new cities. Oh, she's a travel buff. What I find fascinating about Ankita is that most of her career, she's been the only HR person in the room. No team reporting to her, no direct reports on her org chart. And yet, she's built systems from scratch, helped teams grow, guided leadership on tough decisions, and help in shaping how the organization works. So, today we're going to explore what leadership really looks like when you don't have a team. How do you influence without authority? And how do you stay motivated when your work is often invisible? Ankita, welcome to the show. And it's such a nice and pleasurable kind of a conversation that we're going to be looking forward to with you. Uh, it's kind of been, I think, around what, 8, 10 years that we've probably not been in touch. And when I reached out to you, it was really, really nice of you to say yes to get coming onto the podcast as a guest and agreeing to have a conversation with me. So thank you so much for being here and being part of this conversation.
Thank you so much, Nilima, for the kind of introduction which you have given about myself. Okay, and of course, so what I mean. It's like it gives me a happy feeling that connecting with the people to with whom you have worked in past. Okay, I think they are the one those who know you better. So I'm happy to be a part of this particular podcast for sure.
Thank you. So let's jump into the conversation. And what I kind of find interesting here is that you've been in HR for around what, 12 plus years, I think, right now. What I want you to do is go back in time and tell me, when did you kind of decide that you wanted to be a HR professional? What made you take that decision?
So, while I was doing my graduation, okay, I did bachelor's in management studies. Okay, so at that time, I guess in the fifth semester, we had one topic called as a human resource management, and along with that, my specialization itself happened in marketing. But then, the way the HR was communicated, okay, it requires someone who can be good at conversation, who can communicate ideas well, who can help people in getting into the better roles. Okay, you do recruitment, you interact with many people, okay, taking ownership of the things, and also that way the thought process got developed in my mind and stating that yes, I want to get into it. Okay, and somewhat, I mean, of course, in HR there are different sections. Okay, you must be well aware that it starts with the hiring. Okay, So I started in the with hiring itself. Okay, then my initial internship which happened with Tata CMC Limited. Okay, which was for their passport seva project. Okay, so that gave me a breakthrough, like where do I want to see myself in the future. Okay, and I think communication is something which is an important aspect, okay, of the HR function. At times whenever I fall sick, okay, if my throat is not well, okay, I feel like, for next 2 or 3 days my work will get hampered, because my job involves a lot of talking. Okay, I talk with external parties, I talk with the candidates, okay, I talk with internal associates, I talk with the higher management. Okay, so talking and communication is something which is important, and I think that's why, I mean, choosing this particular field, okay, has been, say, a key goal. And I think your ambition, okay, I mean, you are good at what, okay, if you're good at some particular thing, then ideally you should be doing something in and around that. Okay, so I think communication is what I'm good at, and that's how then HR came up to me. I mean, there had been instances wherein, of course, with Provi Foods itself. Okay, I mean, there was no HR. I joined here as a first HR person, and while I could close the offers, while I could explain about the benefits, then about the company, okay, how do we work. So one of the candidate, of course, he's working with us in sales at the moment. Then he said one thing to me, and that is there with me still. Like, the way you have explained the things, okay, that has made my mind clear, and I'm happy to join your organization. Okay, and fortunately, of course, he is still working with us. Okay, and he has been a good performer. So I think, yes, communication has played a vital role in defining what I want to do.
That's such a lovely story and such a nice perspective to have to pick up the place that and space that you are into and enjoy the journey. What I find interesting about the role that you are, it's the title itself. It says manager, HR manager, right? But when we were having a conversation, what you told me was that currently, though you are an HR manager, you don't have anybody reporting into you, or you don't have, like, generally the traditional way of looking at manager means चार पांच लोग report कर रहे हैं आपको, sort of
Yes.
a picture, or you will have that picture in front of you. So you don't have a team which is reporting to you. So what does managing mean when there is no one on your team? How do you go about it? What is it that it means to you?
So, according to me, management, see, each and everyone who is working for the organization is a manager. Even starting from the security guard, okay, although he has been designated as a security guard, his role or his job function is like that. But then he is also managing something, some or the other aspects related to his work, okay. So, according to me, any individual, okay, who is accountable for any of the activities, okay, whatsoever job function is, okay, they are managing that particular function. Okay,
Right.
coming to the point about being an individual army or being a one women army kind of a thing at the moment. Okay, so last couple of years, I mean, I think I started doing the brainstorming in I did a brainstorming in 2023, 2024, stating that, where I should be, okay, in what particular level, what particular position. Okay, let us keep the position aside, the designation part. Okay, where I should be. So I had decided that, considering I have worked in teams, I have reported to the head HRs, okay, I have reported to the VP HRs and everyone. Okay, now I want to grab a opportunity wherein, I'll be at the center point. I'll be
Mhm.
given the authority, as well as I'll be accountable for the responsibility. I mean, I'll be the responsible person. Okay. I want to get into bringing up the structure to the organization, okay, wherein there is a lot of work. Okay. I want to stay busy. Okay, no matter what, whether I'll work along with someone or I'll work individually. Okay, so that thought process was certainly clear in my mind. And then whatever interactions I was doing, okay, while I was evaluating the job offers, okay, those were also happening on the similar ground. Okay, that people want to take up HR and they want to set up their HR function. Okay, so it's going to be like, make your hands dirty. Okay, and of course I want to get into a function wherein, you make your hands dirty, because so that your brain cells are active. Okay, your brain remains active. Okay, I mean, at the end of the day, you sleep satisfied that yes, you did this, you achieved this. Okay, for the betterment of yourself and of course for the betterment of the organization. So that thought process was well cleared. So never it turned out to be a point wherein, I am working alone. Okay,
Yeah.
at the moment I am interacting with almost, now there are I mean, the time when I had joined, there were almost 49 on roll employees. Now we are having an army of 88 on roll employees. Okay,
Mm.
and then of course there is a bifurcation of the blue collar, white collar. Okay, the blue collared one, they speak in different language. Okay, even the converse, I mean, the basic language could be, they could be comfortable in talking in Marathi, they could be comfortable talking in Hindi. Okay, with white collar specifically, you have to converse in English or say even in Hindi, but then their understanding is different. Okay, so I think I'm acting as a mediator. Okay, and they are so say close to me now that even for a single, I mean, for a simple things also, they are open. Okay, they do openly discuss about their issues. Okay,
Right.
so I think rather than focusing about why I'll do this job alone, okay, I rather focused upon the opportunity, stating that, this is it, I have to do it and I have to showcase my abilities, like, bring up the change on the table. Okay, so that's why this particular thing I have never ever thought about it. But then of course right now we are on the point wherein, the teams are expanding, and behind at least 70 people, one HR suffices. Okay, now we are having a head count of more than 80. So sooner or
Okay.
later we will have to onboard someone, okay, as a support. But then, yeah, until now this thought process has never bothered me much.
I think I love the clarity and I love the structured thought process that you've had, and I think broad vision about how you want to go about in your career path, and whether it is uh, being having a team or not having a team, but what I want to do and how I want to project myself and take myself forward. I think I love the clarity that is there, and it's so interesting to kind of hear um, that, though I am being called manager and I don't have team members, I don't feel anything wrong in this. I'm happy in my own space and place, and that's something which speaks a lot and speaks volumes in that sense. So thank you for being so honest about this. Let's talk about the weight of the responsibility. Okay, because you are on your own, you don't have a team to share the work burden. You don't have people whom you can delegate कि ये 4 दिन में कर लो, so that I finish this in this meantime and you look at this 4 things and finish it in next 3-4 days, and so on and so forth, which is like the normal way of practice. So can you remember, a moment in this role when you felt, okay, this is real me, I'm responsible for more than just my own work now? And what was that feeling like, and what was that moment like, if you can kind of elaborate on something like that?
Okay, okay. So I can give you here an example of the recent event which we did for our employees. Okay, so every year, I mean, since from last year itself, we have started with this tradition of holding corporate cricket league for our own employees. Okay,
Oh,
so
nice.
of course, when it comes to doing something at a larger scale, I alone cannot manage the entire part. Okay, I'll have to be dependent on the rest of the teams. Okay, and fortunately, I must say, I mean, I'm fortunate enough for having other team members from different departments. Okay, those who came to me with a voluntary support that you can divide the responsibilities within the team, okay, and then we will take up the job responsibilities, and according to that we will make the event successful. Okay,
Right.
so wherein at the moment the way hirings are happening, okay, every now and then, I mean, the last week of February was so tough that, considering only 28 days, plus in the last week itself I onboarded almost three employees, okay, one each, on the last 3 days, okay, plus doing the payroll and everything, and plus the event being held. I was like, okay, fine. If there are others, those who are ready to take up the responsibility, let us take a chance and then distribute the work, okay. And happily, everyone did their job very well, okay. The event happened successfully. So, never ever, I mean, they also did not feel like, that it was an HR event, okay. They never said that. They said that it is the company's event, okay, and the event is being held for us, okay. So somewhere, of course, coming to your point that you are being responsible for something extra, okay. This was one example wherein, the teams being very cooperative, okay. They do not just dump anything, okay. I mean, like, there is an HR, so she will do everything, okay, rather than they think that let us help her in bringing or making her life easy, okay. They think in that manner. Second was like, of course, more than the responsibility, so there are certain activities like, considering earlier the organization headcount was less, although the business was large, but then the headcount was less because that was the organization demand, okay. Then we started getting a responsibility with the change in headcount, okay. There are additional requirements in terms of the IT infrastructure is required, okay. So wherein, with the new joinee, if I am being expected to get the IT infrastructure done, okay, so then somewhere, it is being certainly expected that she can bring up a control even in the IT infrastructure. But then somehow this is something which is out of the purview, okay, of the HR, okay. So at that particular point in time, of course, the organization also agreed that now we are at a phase wherein, we would require a dedicated IT in-house person, okay. But then there was a time wherein I had started getting a feeling like, more than HR, you are, getting, say, exposed into some additional duties and responsibilities, although those additional duties and responsibilities are quite less, nothing gross negligible. But then, uh, I was being held accountable for, like, stating the point that if we give her work, she will ensure that the
It happens.
things are stable. Yes, yes. So that is, of course, with the trust factor. But then at the same time, I think along with the trust, what comes is the domain knowledge, okay. And I think putting a particular person who is having a right domain knowledge in the right job is important. So that's where I felt like, yes, I am being held responsible for doing something additional, okay. Like, apart from, I mean, there are various instances, I mean, considering the organization is growing, okay. Earlier there could have been uh, stages wherein one person used to do multiple things, okay. But now with a growing firm, you cannot expect one person to do multitasking, okay. You will have to have a team under you. So that's where the point when I felt that, yes, the work is also getting expanded, the role is getting expanded, but then at the same time we need to have more people in place. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's one major part of your role also about is that hiring people, right?
Yes.
Because you've been majorly doing that in the current organization. You've been helping the team grow, look at people. So when you're hiring people, or or hiring for performance, what is it that you look for, for people to come on board? How do you kind of um, judge, or judge may be a wrong word, but evaluate that this is a right fit, this is a right wrong probably not the correct fit for the culture and the organization that you are working with? And how do you ensure that people who come in are in the similar mindset people in the organization? What are those criteria or checks and balances that you have?
Okay. So, culture fit is one of the important thing. Okay, what we do here. I mean, I talk to, I mean, at least 10 people a day. Okay. And being into FMCG, yes, it's an advantage that the attrition, I mean, people are more interested to join the organization because it's a large scale thing. Okay, the revenue generation, the product movement in the market. Okay, it's the visibility is quite large. Okay, so people are more interested to work with FMCG organizations.
Right.
Considering the point that there had been instances wherein we get applications, and while we evaluate, a candidate might be working with a large company, okay, well settled organization, still they are not happy. Okay, and when we talk about our organization, I mean, touchwood, the attrition rate is very much under control. I mean, right now also it's like hardly 1.5%.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
I mean, on
good.
an average, yeah, average for
That's
the
amazing.
entire year. So, what has made people to change mind, or what has made people to stay with us? Okay, that is something which is called as a freedom. Okay, then second is trust. Whenever we, I mean, I do hiring. Okay, there has to be, I mean, in the conversation, of course, there shouldn't be any gray areas kept. Okay, everything needs to be in black and white, and we are like, we are linked to each other. I mean, although I am going to work out of the head office, I'll be coordinating with 10 different people a day. That person could be from our factory, that person could be from the head office, that person could be from the feet on street person. Okay, but then one thing will shall be remain constant, that is the trust, the faith. Okay, whenever we onboard a person, okay, we are clear about the job expectation. Now it is your responsibility with the 100% trust and a response. You need to be responsible, and you need to give, say, justice towards that particular function. Okay, we won't chase you, we won't do follow up with you for the output. Okay, it is you that who will inform us that this has been achieved. Okay, in case if you are lacking somewhere, or in case if you are not getting the expected result. Okay, wherein you need your managers to put their heads into it, and get the closures done, they will help you out. But then from day one, we would expect, we are there to train you, but then you will be given the responsibility, you will be responsible, and we will put 100% trust on you. And I think because of that, till now, the survival ratio, when it comes to employees, had been very good. And the transparency in terms of what how the company culture is. Okay, we have been very much transparent about the things. Okay, so being into HR, and as I close the offers, okay, I talk to the people. Okay, uh, I mean, I mean, when it comes to, I mean, I feel like, there are recruiters, those who say that you have to convince the candidate. No, I'm totally against it. Okay, convincing. Why should I convince the candidate? Okay, it's a both way thing. The organization needs a person. Similarly, the candidate also needs a job, right? Okay, so the convincing part, like, that comes only when we talk about the salaries. Okay, when the negotiation happens on that. But then when I'm portraying something to you, a good visible company culture. Okay, like, the benefits what we give and all, I think we are very much clear on that path. Okay, so I mean, I being in HR, whenever I talk to the candidates. Okay, so this is what is my, I mean, way of thinking when it comes to convincing. I mean, when you are doing headhunting, if someone is not interested in any job role, then why would that person apply for that particular job function, right? Okay, even though you will put 110% efforts of yourself in convincing that person, no, this is a good job, you should take up this job. If that person is not interested, then won't take it up. So I think the clarity, trust, and clear communication are the aspects which I am utilizing it. And I think that should be the one which each organization should adopt, then we will be able to create happy workplaces.
I came into that and fingers crossed, so that we don't have burnouts and we don't have challenges in the
Yes.
workforce. But being in HR, somehow, I mean, as a third person view, if I have to look at it, I feel it's always a tricky job. It's not easy. You are always in the middle, between the employees and the business. You are the in between person. It's kind of shield, yes, because what happens is, something goes wrong, the employee is going to come and blame you कि तुम्हारी वजह से हुआ, तुम एचआर हो, तुमने काम नहीं ठीक से करा, या तुमने मेरा रिप्रेजेंटेशन ठीक से नहीं किया, तो this is the problem. The management or the leadership is going to come and tell you कि boss, you've not done your job right of communicating to the employees that this kind of increment is not going to happen, or this policy is not going to work like this benefits are not going to be there. So you're always in between. So I'm sure it is a tricky job and a stressful one at that. I'm kind of 100% sure of that. So how do you manage this in between space, as a manager one, as a HR manager two, both the things together? How do you kind of navigate the space and try and keep your calm and cool?
So, first and foremost, I feel, I mean, while you were explaining this, okay, one thought came in my mind that, parents do take care of their kids, okay. Kids throw up
It is
trauma
a
every
stressful
now and then, okay.
it's a
So,
stressful job.
if father is going to take kids' side, okay, if someone has done a mess, okay, then if father takes a side of son, okay, and mother is against, again there won't be an equilibrium, okay.
Yeah.
So similarly it happens in the office also, okay. Of course, I mean, it's a part and parcel somewhere. I have understood one thing, that being into HR, you will have to have, you will be acting like as a mediator, okay.
Yeah.
And it's both ways objective you need to achieve, okay. Considering, of course, I mean, at times you will end up feeling that there is no HR for you, okay. You are all alone, there is no one to listen to you, okay. You are also an employee, but then just because you are being designated in that particular role or a function, you don't have your direct person to whom you can, express your feelings, like, what am I feeling, or something like that. But then, yeah, of course, there are stressful situations, okay, wherein you have to communicate in the trickiest manner, okay. You have to avoid some conversations, okay, wherein it may so happen that understanding human behavior is complex. I think on this earth, if anything is very difficult to understand or very difficult to manage, that is a human behavior, okay. The mood swings, there are people with a mood swing personalities, like, morning may they will have some mood, in evening they will be on some other side, okay, of the earth, okay. They will throw tantrums. So I think what I engage into, like, to relax myself, I start my day with, whenever I am doing my exercise, okay, I listen to music. I read books, okay. Recently I finished reading Ikigai. I wanted to read that book since quite long, but then this year, fortunately this year only I could get time to finish that book, okay. So, and cutting yourself off from something, okay, I think in at a particular age, I mean, you gain that maturity, that where you need to, keep a back, I mean, keep a difference between yourself and certain things, okay. This will be daily, I mean, daily you are going to have some or the other thing going on, okay. I end up getting calls that, "Arey, this has happened there. Okay, you please make a visit to this particular location tomorrow and get the thing sorted." Okay, जब कॉल आता है तभी ऐसे सुनाई देता है कि माय गॉड आग लगी है। नेक्स्ट डे आती हूँ तो तब आधी आग बुझी हुई रहती है। फिर मुझे लगता है कि कल तो कॉल पे इतना बवाल हुआ, फिर आज क्यों नहीं इतना हो रहा है। ओके, so it's like वो सिचुएशन के वक्त हाउ यू रिएक्ट, ओके, एंड हाउ यू टैकल. सो आई थिंक how earlier I was, okay, um, I was never a calm personality, okay. I always used to shout. uh, Certainly in last couple of years when I started doing my own analysis, I realized that going forward definitely this behavior is not going to work on me for my own betterment as well, okay. Staying
Mhm.
calm in any situation is something what is important. Getting into productive conversations is what something what I have been doing, okay. And I think there through I am able to manage whatever kind of stress. I won't call it as a stress, it's a part and parcel of my job function, and of course I have accepted it happily. So I think that's how I'm able to tackle with the things. Yeah, I mean, keeping things at limitations, you need to create boundaries, and if you are good at it, then definitely things won't hamper your own self or say your own aura. So that's what I feel.
I think that's a very important distinction to have, and the boundaries to draw. I think that's a very important distinction to have per se. So, while you were kind of explaining or sharing कि कल शाम को तो बहुत सारा बवाल हुआ, कल दूसरे दिन सुबह जब मैं ऑफिस आई तो it was like quiet and peaceful, and nothing of that sort was an experience that I had. So can you kind of give us some kind of experience or a tough call that you had to make, maybe in hiring, maybe performance issue or a conflict resolution, some policy change maybe in the organization that you had to communicate. And while doing that, what did you learn what leadership means or being a leader is from that experience? If you have something to share on that line.
So I would not call it as a tough call, but then I'll give my current organization's example itself. Okay, the time when I had joined, of course, before joining, while I was being interviewed, okay, while having the interaction, uh, my reporting manager then he said that I mean you're sure 100% that you want to get into it. So then I was like, yes, I am ready for it. So then, to dar to nahi jayegi na. These were the
Okay.
lines, okay, which were used by. So then I said, no, sorry, I won't, because I was mentally prepared for this, of course. Second is, in return to this, my question was like, after onboarding me, there shouldn't be any backfiring from the team stating that, the management has brought an HR now, okay, who will be keeping an eye over us, okay. So the theme needs to be communicated in such a manner that I am being called for the betterment of the people and the betterment of the organization, okay. So there had been times, okay, wherein uh, people were not habituated towards certain things like the culture or say the policies. Every organizations behave in a particular manner. There are some rules and regulations, okay. So I
Yeah.
was even being held responsible for developing the rules and regulations for the employees, okay. So there were initial times wherein this was not in place. Why we should be doing it now, okay. Earlier we were enjoying our life happily. There was no biometrics, there was no attendance system, there was no leave system, okay. But then why we want to do this now, okay. So
Mhm.
the earlier impression was like, she wants to keep a track, okay, she will keep an eye over us, okay. But then later on, those who were seeing this, okay, ultimately their team only started getting expanded, okay. And when the team expansion happens, it becomes really crucial to keep a tab over certain things, because each and every individual is accountable for some responsibility, right.
Absolutely.
So during the initial time, yes, it was tough, but then certainly the acceptance happened, because ultimately the goal was very well communicated that we all are learning and we all are streamlining the function, Okay, so it should be a win-win situation. Okay, so if I'm listening to one or two of your thoughts, okay, so then at the same time the expectation will be whatever I'm being communicating, that should be, well absorbed or well adapted. Also the mindset of the people. Okay, not just here. Okay, this is a generic thing. What I'm saying is like, HR always does, any policy is to be called as a HR policy.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
that is not HR policy, that is organization policy. Okay. We all are HRs. Human resource means what? You are human resources, okay? And I am being responsible to help you guys, okay? So when people say HR policy में ये नहीं लिखा है, HR policy बताओ ये वो, so then I literally correct them that this is not the HR policy. This needs to be called as an organization policy for you people. Okay, so that's how, I mean, yes, at times it is tricky. Some do understand, some are like they never ever want to understand anything. Okay, so yes, but then it's tricky. Well, here things got settled really very well, in the quickest manner, in the fastest manner. Okay, so fortunately I was lucky enough to streamline certain things as quickly as possible I could. But yeah, I think this could be a challenge for the one those who are into setting up the organization, and that too for those, see, there are organizations those who hire HRs after 20 or 30 years also. I mean, the initial 20 or 30 years they felt like they do not even want to have an HR, and all of a sudden that someone gives them gyan like, no, you should have a HR or personnel department. Then in such organization, accepting a new person becomes a challenge. Okay, here it never had been that challenge. Here people were happy that yes, now HR has come, so then whatever issues we have, whatever queries we want to ask, will keep bothering her. But then so they happily disturb me, and I'm happily getting annoyed.
That's so interesting. So yeah, so it actually leads me to my next question is, with all these things on your plate, people happily disturbing you, you happily getting annoyed, and then the young and small kiddo at home, so many people wanting so much of you. How do you take care of yourself? How do you manage yourself?
So, like as I mentioned, last 2 years, okay, were little tough also on the personal ground, okay, where we had back-to-back medical emergencies going on at home, okay.
Ah,
My daughter was quite small, and managing everything was becoming little difficult. I mean, the time devotion, okay, where it should have been. I mean, it was happening at multiple places, okay. So two options. Okay, either you leave everything and just get into it, or is like accept the situation and go ahead with it. So certainly I have chosen the second option. Accept the situation, you cannot
brave
change
and
anything.
courageous.
Yes, you will have to move on. You will have to, manage everything at one go itself. So but then eventually, while I did studies for myself, like where do I want to see myself in couple of years, okay, in which role, in which function. Similarly, where my health, from health perspective, how well I should be, how I need to maintain my aura. Okay, that analysis also I did. And certainly in accordance to that, every day in the morning I ensure that half an hour I spend for myself. Okay, there was a time wherein, I used to feel like it is good, remotely जो काम करते हैं उनकी life better है. Okay, they can go to gym, they can engage in some extracurricular activities. I'm not getting time to go to gym. But then at the same time I said that ये तो complain रहेगी in on-site job. Okay, so I shouldn't be stopping here. Okay, so then I started doing exercise. I started doing the yoga at home itself. Okay, half an hour every day, no disturbance, nothing. In the morning you are fully charged for the day. Okay, and then it's done. I mean, then you will be completely on it. Okay, then whatever changes, I mean, of course there was a time wherein, you you were quite young, okay, and you were having ultimate freedom, okay. You used to like having different kind of meal, okay, plus including the fast food, etc., etc. I mean, I can say that I can give this credit to my daughter. I mean, while she came in our life, our lives got changed, okay. I mean, maximum time we ensure these days that we are eating home cooked food only, okay. We go outside, okay, for sure, but then maximum time we whatever we want to eat, okay, let us do experiment at home and eat home cooked food, okay. So food wise also, whatever changes I wanted to make it for myself, okay, I started realizing that why do I like more greens, okay, why I'm so attracted towards greens, okay. So that I realized it while I did my own there is a concept called as chakras, okay, in the human body. So I realized that my heart chakra is prominent, and that's why I'm being attracted towards green vegetables, okay.
Mm, okay.
So yeah, I mean, that is a good thing, okay. And I mean, I felt like, yes, it is you. You don't need anyone, okay? It is you that you need to do the best possible change for yourself, okay? I mean, you are the best judge for your own life. And that's how then I am able to maintain things well, at least right now. And I think half an hour every day, everyone can devote an, I mean, 10 hardly it takes for 11 sets of Surya Namaskara. How much time it takes? 10 minutes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes, you're supercharged.
Awesome. This is really awesome. And it is so important. And I think all credit also goes to some credit goes to your daughter for making you eat healthy as compared to the junk food that you would dive into earlier. But yes, I mean, it is important and it is really awesome how you've changed around things for you and, around you. That actually comes leads to a second question that I have, which is, while all these things is happening, on the work front, you clearly lead a lot of work, you do a lot of work which is hands on. uh, so how do you keep growing in the workspace as a professional, uh, as a HR person, as a professional? How do you ensure that you are learning new things? Are you are imbibing new? There's so many changes currently happening in the world, right? In every space. So how do you kind of keep yourself updated? How do you ensure that you are
Okay.
there?
So I do follow a certain, say, classifieds or say the newsletters. Okay, not in terms of the training, because last 2 years I couldn't get into the training part for myself as such. But then when it comes to knowledge enhancement, yes, of course, reading and listening are the two important aspect. Okay, every now and then, I mean, like a recent example. Okay, in the month of November, there had been a change in the uniform wage code. Okay, the government introduced it.
Yeah.
After that, without any knowledge, without any proper studies, okay, there are many consultants those who started conducting the sessions. Okay, and in these sessions, they used to address like, we are yet to get a clarity on it. Okay, the clarity will be given by the end of March. So then there is no point in having sessions right now, okay. So I do follow a specific say leaders or say the coaches, okay. So there is one coach, okay. I think her name is Viji Hari, okay. She is well expertise into diversity and inclusion. Apart from that, posh, okay. So the
Yeah.
way she puts up the cases related to it, okay, it's like eye openers for you. Like, you get to know that whatever is happening in the outside world, okay, also about the recent reforms and everything. So I think the reading and listening skills, okay, are at present they are playing the most important role here. Unfortunately, I'm not able to devote time for any specific trainings as such. um, but then, yeah, I think that point which I mentioned earlier, okay, you need to draw a boundary line, okay. So this is a time wherein you will define yourself like where you want to reach, and also you will keep on following those who really inspire you, okay. So I'm literally doing that. Okay, I'm just following those who really inspire me, those who practically imparting knowledge. Okay, and there is a good visibility in the sense after following this person, you will feel like yes, some or the other knowledge enhancement has happened in you. Okay. So likewise, so yes, I'm active. I'm making the best use of LinkedIn. I can say that apart from hiring for the knowledge advancement for sure.
That's interesting. That's really nice and interesting way to up with whatever is happening around the world. So after all these years of experience, I'm just kind of curious if I ask you to redefine what manager, when you started, let's say 12 odd years back to what you are currently with all your experience, how would, if I ask you to redefine what manager means or what is a manager, what would that be now?
So, redefining, I would say, see, the only one thought which is being, settled in my mind about the manager function is like to manage the things wholeheartedly. Okay.
Okay.
So, like the definition which is going on in the market, okay, at present, of course, that is a hierarchy based definition, okay.
Hmm.
Like if you are a manager, then there will be an assistant manager below you, then there will be senior executives, okay, junior executives likewise. But then I think depending upon the job role, and the scope of the job, okay, people are being given the suitable designations. And according to me, manager definition has to be simplified like the one who is accountable for. Okay, example, if I am accountable for certain things, okay, but then although I don't have my own army, okay, I mean, I'm not fascinated with the fact that someone is reporting to me. Rather, I will be more interested in working in a team, okay, having a flat hierarchy kind of thing, okay, and there is no competition within the team towards the achievement of the goals, but then rather this is the goal, and together we need to achieve it. I mean, I'm that kind of a person. Okay, my thought process is little different than how it goes. Okay, there are some those who are fascinated with the fact that no, I want to have a team now. I want to, yes, of course, there will be times. Okay, there will be a time wherein I'll be getting my team, but then of course with a getting team, managing their own. I mean, behavioral conflicts or say issues, understanding their abilities. Okay, that will be also another piece on my table. Okay, so I think that's how I feel like a manager means like how you are able to manage your things. Okay, simplified. Okay, irrespective whether you are working alone or you are having your team. I think each one of us hold that capability in getting the things done in the rightful manner.
A very powerful way to look at it. And so, if you ask me, to extend the same thought, I think there would be a lot of people who are in this kind of a space that you are in, have the title but don't have the team. So, what would you kind of suggest to them? Or I wouldn't say advise because that doesn't sound right, but suggest or, tell them to keep moving forward. What is it that you would have to share with them?
I think you our personal objectives, okay, and the organization objectives should be on the same grounds. Okay, example, if Ankita has decided that she should be into it, and after few years then she should be seeing this particular growth, not the monetary growth here I'm talking about, but then the role based growth. I mean, there will be times wherein one person retires, okay, and at the time of their retirement, okay, they should have something in their hand stating that I did this so many years, I achieved all these objectives. Okay, so if the objectives are getting aligned with the organization's objective, I think there through the upliftment can happen really very well. Okay, and one thing is clarity of the thought. Okay, at times it so happens that uh, we do hesitate in taking decisions or say risks. Okay, there will be, I mean, I've seen people in startup, okay, well funded startup it is. Okay, they want to look out for a person, they do hunting, and then while doing the hunting, people, even though people have applied for their jobs, okay, either people will end up backing out on the offers. Okay, even after receiving, they will make a use of that particular offer and they will go somewhere else, or else after joining they won't survive. Okay, because there will be, at times there will be a fear in their mind that what is next, what will be next. Okay, in case अगर सैलरी आना बंद हो जाए या फिर प्रोडक्शन रुक जाए, प्रोडक्ट चले ही नहीं. Okay, so this is a human tendency. Okay, wherein we put pressure on the negative aspects, okay, rather than putting a pressure on the positive sides. Okay, so I think one thing is pretty clear, that what you need, your goals, your organization's goals, and the capacity that you have, if those are matching, then it will be a win-win situation. So those who are working in the same domain and they are working as an individual HRs, okay, they need to study themselves really very well and understand that, I mean, are they getting justice in terms of the profile is being concerned. Okay, I mean, the roles and responsibilities are concerned. Okay, and the future where they do want to see themselves. So these the certain things, if they are matching, then I think that will be a win-win situation for even those who are working in the same domain and in the similar role.
Right. Um, okay, so let's do something different now. Let's end on something lighter. Okay. We've been in this space, or you've been in the profession for around 12 years, and so you must have some funny or surprising thing about your work that people can't guess or would never guess. Something like that. Some goofy moment, some funny story, or some faux pas that you had.
You were aware that I like photography, I like capturing things. Okay, so here certainly nobody knows about it. Okay, that I have that artistic angle placed in myself. Okay, I mean, I like those rustic things. Okay, I like to get into the old architecture, the oldie goldie vibe. I like such things a lot. Okay, so I have that artistic mindset. So whenever our marketing team also does something, okay, they want to do something and they ask for opinions. Okay, so I put 100% of my artistic brain in it, and then I give them suggestions that do this,
I'm
do
sure
that,
they
do
must be
that.
surprised at it.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, of course, then I'm happy that people do take your opinions. Okay, I mean, happy to be a contributor in that. So unfortunately nobody knows that this side of mine here.
Now, this episode should help them spread this episode in the organization, and they will get to know about it and hear about it. But Ankita, this was such a lovely conversation. Before we wrap up, where can people find you? Is it only on LinkedIn? Is that the right
Yeah,
place to find
sure.
you?
Yes, on
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Okay. So I'll share that your LinkedIn handle on the podcast note. And listeners, if you ever want to talk about vintage architecture, you know where to find uh, Ankita on LinkedIn. So that's something which is it. Thank you so much for being so open and so honest today. I think it was such a lovely conversation after so many years, and I think a lot of listeners are going to take a lot of things from what you've said in small nuggets that you shared. I think it was such a lovely conversation. Thank
Yeah,
you so much for being part of this.
thank you so much, Nirima, once again for extending this opportunity.